Hello and welcome to the Weekly Reel Podcast. My name is Ken,
And my name is Jeremy.
and this week we reminisce about our misspent youths. Well, actually, just mine, since Beverly Hills Cop, that franchise is actually a part of my youth. But today, Jeremy and I will be covering Beverly Hills Cop, Axel F, which just recently came out on Netflix. And so, Jeremy, it's good to be back. We do apologize. This live stream should have been last week, but then another bug or virus is something I just
I know.
seem to be just a magnet to these last couple months.
So, guys, if you were expecting this episode last week, blame Ken. I'm just kidding.
Yes, blame me and
Just
my
kidding.
poor immune system. I don't know what is
It's like,
going
dang
on.
it.
So if I cough into the microphone, it's not because I want to. It's because I couldn't avoid it.
Yeah.
So just warning you.
Yeah. We're all happy Ken's back, healthy and not coughing as much, Yeah.
Ish. But yeah, Jerry, we are live on YouTube, aren't we?
We are live we've been live this entire season. And I'm glad that we switched to going live. It makes us a little, I don't know, even more unfiltered, right? It's kind of just on the fly, sometimes more unfiltered, sometimes more casual. I think it's been very much different, and being on YouTube Live, that's where we are, the Weekly Real Podcast. If you're watching this or if you're listening to this, you know, we're live now in video. So
Check us out.
check us out on YouTube Live.
Yeah. And we're not disparaging audio only podcasts. I mean, I still listen to them a lot. And so we get it. Like sometimes, well, whenever people are commuting or just winding down after a long day at work or school or after just a long day in general, I think podcast is a excellent way to unwind. Right, Jeremy?
Yeah, we just wanted to make sure that you knew
Yeah.
that we have video, because after 6 seasons of not having video, I think we should mention it.
Yeah.
Every
Well, live
episode.
video anyway. Live video.
The live video, exactly.
Yeah. Because I mean, live video, and even if you do end up watching, more, I guess, chopped up version. I mean, we just kind of separate part one and part two for our final YouTube videos. It's an excellent way to kind of watch us in smaller spurts, especially during your breaks, in between classes, or on your 15-minute break at work, or
I
even
mean,
lunch.
hell, even if you just want to say, "Oh, I only want to listen to the soup du jour,"
Yes.
right?
Because
It's like, "Oh, I haven't seen Axel F yet."
Yeah.
It's like, let me just listen to soup du jour. You could do that. Watch part two.
Yeah. And I mean, the brilliant thing about what Jeremy and I have done over the last few years and
Not to
almost,
run, not to
yeah,
pat our own backs.
and not to pat our own backs.
Then
And
how brilliant we are.
brilliant we are, especially these last almost 7 seasons. I mean, every episode that we've ever done is in an archive somewhere, mainly on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. But I mean, we're building that library on YouTube now, especially since this is where, I mean, we're new to it here. It's even season 7. So, again, if you are joining us live, if you've already seen Axel F, great. And if you want to join us a little bit later because you don't want to get spoiled on Beverly Hills Axel F, and because you plan on watching it, definitely check us out for the soup du jour in about 45 minutes or so. So definitely check us out. But again, as Jeremy alluded to, we have a lot to get to. So let's go ahead and issue that spoiler warning. I mean, we are going to be talking about Beverly Hills Cop, that franchise, because this week, Axel, wait, that was my best Surge impression. Axel.
Yeah. I was confused in the first movie. I'm like, what?
Axel Foley returns to Beverly Hills, where it all started 40 years earlier, but this time to save his daughter and a few of his pals in Beverly Hills Cop. Axel F. Axel F is now streaming on Netflix, so definitely check it out. I believe the first two are on Netflix as well, so if you want to like really go into nostalgia mode, maybe get into the whole deal. The first two are on Netflix, and actually all three are on Paramount Plus. So none of those platforms are sponsoring us just yet, but yeah, we're not sponsored yet by Paramount Plus or Netflix. So we're just waiting.
Almost. Yeah, we're
We're,
just waiting.
we're just waiting. But Jeremy, let's get right into the double feature. For those that are new to this podcast, this is where I have a question for Jeremy. He doesn't know what I'm going to ask. And likewise, Jeremy has a question for me that I have no idea he's going to ask. So, Jeremy, this latest installment comes 40 years after the original Beverly Hills Cop and 30 years after the most recent installment, Beverly Hills Cop 3. And so, since we're no longer giving weekly reel awards, namely the On Your Left award for best callback reference, Jeremy, what was your favorite callback reference to any of the previous installments?
Oh, okay. Knowing like the first one that popped into my mind, I might choose that one, but I'm trying to remember this movie because it's been 2 weeks now. I try to watch a little bit of recaps and stuff. In terms of it's like what did they rehash and what they didn't rehash. In a way, I like them stealing the truck that they were in and like crash all the cops crashing into each other. That's my callback from the first.
They did that actually twice with the snowplow in the beginning.
Yeah,
too.
you got the snowplow in the very beginning and the truck at the very end.
But the truck at the end was like the best.
Yeah, and I was waiting for the entire movie for the Axel F, theme to go. Dude. In the beginning, I'm like, oh, they're teasing it. And for a while, before this movie or the last 2 weeks, I've never seen any of the Beverly Hills Cop movies, right? So the theme was totally escaped me when I would hear it in other pop culture or whatever. I was like, oh, so this is where it's from. I thought they were like, oh, okay. The music's nice. I like this.
Honestly, I forgot the name of the song was Axel F. I was wondering. Remember, we were trying to figure out. I was like, that's weird. How come they're calling this latest one Beverly Hills Cop Axel F? That's kind of a weird title.
Yeah, and I put the subtitles on during the first one.
Yeah,
and it's the Axel F theme playing. I'm like, why do they keep playing it every time? It's like it's gonna play every scene anyway.
Yep.
But yeah, that one, and I'm gonna go. But the one that popped into my mind right away was when Billy he does the police badge. Put your guns down.
Yes. Drop your weapons.
Drop your weapons. But what I wanted him to say though, because obviously now he's a private investigator.
PI, yeah.
Yeah, he couldn't say like we're the police.
Police,
right?
Yeah.
See, that's what I liked. I like both. So the first one's still better when he did it, obviously.
Of course, yeah.
But I was hoping he would say, "Oh yeah, like we're the police. Drop your weapons." Yeah.
By the way, this is kind of random because obviously near the end we finally get Rosewood and Taggart in the same kind of frame. Remember when they were kind of talking outside of the mansion and everything? But I was like, because I also did a rewatch, and for the first two movies, because Taggart wasn't actually in the third one. Wait, you didn't watch the third one yet, huh?
I did not watch the third one.
Well, that's a little bit of a spoiler. There was like a line that I don't know if you caught about him being retired. Oh. But that's how they explained him not being in the third one is because he was retired. That's why for me, when Taggart actually appeared, I was like, oh, he's back.
I just went, damn,
yeah, but like when they were talking outside of the mansion, I was like, dude, why does Rosewood look like thicker or bigger than than Taggart? Because it was always the other way around.
Right.
Rosewood was always the slender one.
Yeah, just a tall and more goofy, like lanky one.
One, yeah. But no, those were good ones. Those were actually a few of the ones that I actually took down. As far as the callbacks, the snowplow, the truck, as well as the drop your weapons. Um, a couple of the ones that I did like were more super nostalgia related. Obviously, the movie basically starting with the song, the '80s song, "The Heat Is On." I was like, "Oh, dude, this is so 1984 right now." And then even the snowplow scene. I mean, we talked about the thing, but they actually um they actually did the. Oh wait, no, sorry. It was the during the meter maids chase scene. They did the Neutron Dance song. So for me, it's like the '80s music melded together in 2024 with this latest version. Um, it brought back a lot of the cool nostalgia for me. It was the music. Um, but in terms of actual scenes, the very, 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 very end, when Eddie Murphy, Axel Foley sneaks into the car, it's like, you guys must be the worst surveillance team, and then he convinces them to eventually get a steak. It just brought back that first movie when he
Yeah.
orders them room service. The what was it the shrimp salad sandwich and the I forgot what the second thing was, and then
Yeah, I
so
forgot.
you could sneak behind him and stick the bananas in the tailpipe.
Yeah. I thought he was gonna invite them to the club, man. At the
I
end of
mean,
this
they
movie.
maybe on the next one. I did like that reference though when
Yeah.
Rosewood was asking Abbott. It's like, hey, did he take you to a strip club yet?
Yeah, yeah.
Axel was
Almost.
like, I am not taking this guy to the thing. It's like he had intercourse with my daughter or
That
my
was good.
kid or whatever he said.
Yeah.
Oh, shit, that was too good.
That was a
What
good one.
were there any other like callbacks that you kind of want to mention, or did you want to save them for later on in?
I will call in terms of callbacks.
Mhm.
I am that actually leads perfectly into my question. My
Oh, go
question's
ahead.
a
Yeah.
little bit different.
Okay.
And I feel like we could discuss more of them in the dailies. My question for you, I almost want to say this is it's a little copy and paste, right?
Oh,
Um,
definitely.
right?
Like
Which
literally
is
specific scenes, like just updated 40 years later. Oh, for sure.
right, right. So, my question for you
Yeah.
is do you feel like or are there any scenes or aspects of the movie that you felt like actually were executed better
Oh.
in this movie that maybe or like maybe that you prefer like oh this is actually I like this in this movie rather than in the first one.
Ooh. Man, that's a good question.
I mean if none of them do it then obviously you can point out which which scene that you thought was the worst out of the bunch. I don't know.
I honestly, I feel like I don't think that any of them were better, but I feel like just because they did that copy and paste and lean into the nostalgia, I still enjoyed it regardless. Just because I was kind of curious to see how they would just um just update it. You know, like I feel like I mean this isn't like it's sort of a throwaway, but I mean especially when you get to the point where Axel Foley was checking into that Beverly Hills hotel,
Mm.
somehow snuck his way into, or talked his way into getting a single room rate, and it was only like $230 something or whatever. And he got us. He was trying to see if he could get away with it. And he was just, oh, I'm tired. Uh,
Dude,
I
that's
just need a
exactly
room.
mine. That's
Yeah.
exactly my scene that I chose. I was like, it fit him too. Like as an
Yeah.
older Eddie Murphy, older Axel Foley.
Hmm.
And I was like, that's so good because I don't it's like it. That joke, I was like, ooh, it was getting old as he was saying it.
Yeah.
No pun intended. Um, I felt like it was getting old because that gag in the first one was really funny.
Mhm.
But I was like, this. I don't know if this is the joke that you can improve upon. So I'm
Yeah.
glad that they like showed like their hand
A little bit
basically
of
in that.
restraint. It was
Right.
like, you know what? How much is it? And then it just basically showed what inflation is. I don't know how accurate it is, but I mean, 40 years, it went up to what, $940 a night.
I that probably right.
Dude, hell expensive. Um, but yeah, I mean, there were some other enjoyable moments. It's just I feel like the ones that stood out to me were actually I felt like were I wouldn't say original, but I don't remember really. I can't really think of any comps from the previous installments, they're but I've seen it in other movie franchises, I should say. But I like that one scene where Abbott was tailing Foley and Jane, and then they get ambushed by was it the
Oh, yeah.
cartel?
I think
Or
so, right?
yeah, it was. I think it was the car. It was the uncle.
They did a full on Nick Fury and Winter Soldier.
Yeah, dude. I thought that was pretty sick.
It was
And they did
intense.
it. And they did that with a really old American truck or whatever. I forgot what the name of the rental company was. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, I forgot the name of it. I'm trying to
But yeah,
remember.
they did a Winter Soldier light. And thank you. I was trying to figure out where I seen some of that. And I was like, thank you.
There you go. Like one thing I missed though was just Taggart and Rosewood
Hmm.
being like cops together and them talking to Axel like in the police station.
Hmm.
Like that, those interactions from the first one were like my favorite. Where they would remember when they like arrested Axel in the very first one, and they're having their exchanges there. I
Yeah.
think that was like one of my favorite, some of my favorite stuff. The dynamic between them three,
Yeah.
and not
I
having that in this movie, I think I miss that.
Yeah, I was trying to think of ways where they could fit a little bit more of that in, but I think they wanted to take the time to obviously establish the heart of the movie between Axel and his daughter Jane, and then obviously they had to integrate Abbott
Yeah,
somehow, and so they had to establish his character as well. So there was a lot of heavy lifting to do with that, and
yeah,
then so it was a little bit of a different dynamic too because Taggart then got moved up to was it chief or something like
Chief.
that.
Yeah,
So it's not like they're going to be partners again like they were in the first couple.
right. And I miss Chief Bogomil.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
wow,
Ronnie Cox's character.
yeah. Chief Bogomil actually wasn't in the third one either.
Oh, he wasn't.
Yeah,
Shit.
yeah.
Because
Um,
when he gets shot in the second one, I'm like, no.
yeah, I know, I know. Actually, I'll mention this tidbit that I came into my head in the dailies. But yeah, I mean, I thought this was surprisingly better than I thought it would, even though it was a blatant ripoff of the first one, essentially.
Right. It's like people that haven't seen the first one that just find this on Netflix, they could watch it and still follow it for the most part, you know?
Hmm.
Like, oh, Axel just knows these old guys. I mean, Rosewood's in it only for like 2 minutes. I thought he would be in it for a little bit more.
Yeah. Um, Minor spoiler for the third one. We get a lot of Rosewood in the third one.
Oh.
So
So,
if you want to see more of Axel Foley and Rosewood as more of a duo, you'll definitely get that in the third one.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um. But yeah, was there anything else on the double feature as far as um I guess comparisons between I guess the previous installments or maybe the original one to this current one?
Like, I know like Eddie Murphy's obviously older, and I just remember some of the scenes from the first one where he has to be more athletic and jump over stuff. I was like, We can't see that nowadays. He might just get hurt.
I know it was very noticeable. Obviously, like okay, so I told Jeremy this yesterday when we were hanging out offline, but I watched the first two finally on Sunday night, and then on Monday night I ended up watching the third one into Axel F. And so yeah, you get to see how quick he is in those first three, and
Mm-hmm.
then especially when he's escaping Rosewood's office or whatever, and then he's like running, and he's not really running very fast. He was running really slow, and it wasn't even that far or whatever. I was like, oh man, he is really getting old now, especially um also near the end, not even just talking about Foley, but both Rosewood and Taggart, when they were in the mansion, I was like, oh my god, they're leading
Yeah.
into the old.
When freaking Tiger brought out the shotgun again, I was like, oh yeah,
Yeah,
same thing.
dude. Even Rosewood, when he got when he got freed and got the gun, I was like, oh shoot, here we go. It's like the second one.
Yeah, dude. The second one, the trench coat.
Yeah. He became like Rambo. Oh, I did like that callback reference with the whole
Rambo knife.
Sylvester, the Rambo knife, and his
Like,
love for Sylvester Stallone.
yeah. One thing I did like, I don't know if this is a hot take or not.
Yeah,
I felt like Kevin Bacon's character, Grant, Cade Grant, actually thought was possibly like a stronger villain than like the second one.
yeah.
You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
mean, it's not hard. These are like 80s villains. And they,
Yeah.
as soon as he stood up from the couch, I'm like,
Oh, he's the
Kevin,
bad guy.
he's the bad guy.
We all knew it.
Because when we saw the cast for this movie, like, oh, Eddie Murphy, Joseph Gordon-Levitt,
Yeah,
obviously the Judge Reinhold and all that stuff, John Ashton as the coming back. But then they saw Kevin Bacon, I was like, oh, it's over.
this guy's going to be the bad guy.
Yeah, it's either Joseph Gordon-Levitt, it's gonna be the good cop, or he's gonna be the right hand man to Kevin Bacon.
And I'm glad he was the right hand man. I mean, not right hand. He's basically the good cop.
He's the good cop. He's just playing John Blake again from Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah, you know what? Let's go right into the dailies because I thought it was funny with the whole Dark Knight Rises comp. I literally have that as my first item on the dailies because obviously you got Detective Blake playing himself. Oh, I'm sorry, Detective Abbott, or is Abbott or Habit? What was? Did you say Habit? Habit? Abbott.
So
but
dumb.
but I thought that was funny in Dark Knight Rises where he plays opposite a Detective Foley. Oh my god!
Oh shoot! Yeah,
Played
right.
by Matthew Modine.
That's so dumb. I didn't even think about that.
It's all a part of the whole multiverse. It's like
Yeah.
different variants. You got a
Wow.
different variant on a Detective Foley.
That's a very different, very different Foley.
Oh shoot!
Honestly, okay. Here's I'll start off with some negative thing for the dailies.
Mm.
I thought the dynamic between him and his daughter Jane Saunders, it was okay. It was like at the same time, she like I think she says she's like 32, but she's clearly not over to like. I feel like this is kind of like a teenage daughter kind of a way of acting about it, with her, like both of them, the whole premise of it and the way they wrote it. I was like, this doesn't feel very like he's older and she's like 32. And then he's like, "Oh, I'm still doing my job. I'm freaking Axel Foley, like
Yeah.
But even though he's like, I'm still doing my job, and he's like freaking, Walker, you know what I mean? It's like, damn. I think that was my biggest complaint was like, it made Axel's character a little like unlikable in those moments. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, but at the same time, he's been doing a lot of questionable things in over 3 movies, but I mean, almost all likable stuff. I'm just saying that
Yeah.
in terms of the moral code, sometimes he'll kind of gray the lines a little bit, blur the
Right.
lines.
Like I could excuse his property damage and all that stuff, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But it's like when it involves like his family. Did he have like a wife in the third one? Or
Oh,
does
that
it
was
just
actually one of my nitpicks for the dailies.
okay.
Do you want a little bit?
Yeah. You can
It's
tell me.
not spoilers for the plot, but in Beverly Hills Cop 3, and they talked about remember when they were talking about his case file when they first get to BHPD, they were talking about 1984, obviously the first one, 1987, which was the second one, and then 1994, which was the third one. In that third one, they introduce a sort of love interest,
Mm.
but 1994, if we're led to believe, because they didn't mention a daughter in that movie, I'm guessing the mom was the sort of love interest in that third one. So the math ain't mathin'.
See,
I would have
remember
thought that.
when
Oh, go ahead. Sorry,
remember when he showed interest in Bogomil's niece in
daughter.
the second one, daughter.
I think.
See,
I
I
forgot
thought
now.
maybe that would be like her mom because they don't mention who the mom is.
Yeah, no. The mom probably would have been whoever that love interest was in the third
Okay.
one. But then that would have been 30 years ago, and at the oldest, she should have been 29.
Okay. Well,
I don't know. And again, I don't know if this is like someone that they just didn't mention, but or if they didn't do the math. I don't know. That's just a little bit of a nitpick for me in the Beverly Hills Cop universe.
nitpick.
Yeah. Any other items for the dailies,
In
whether
the
it be more
dailies,
callbacks? Yeah.
yeah, super random. I know you might appreciate this, and I don't know if you spotted this. We got one of the Neistat brothers, like as in Casey Neistat. I saw him in this movie. I saw Dean Neistat.
Oh shoot, when?
At the very end, people will know where this is because it's when they're going through the truck, and then it's like, "Oh, why don't we call in backup?" And then he hits the first cop's car when that door goes flying off.
Oh, and then he gets hit again later.
Yeah, and he gets hit again later. That's Dean Neistat.
Oh shoot, I didn't recognize
It's like
him.
it's blink it and you miss it, and because
Yeah.
he doesn't say anything. And I was like, oh shoot, is Dean Neistat gonna have a line? He doesn't get a line.
I know he got another appearance though.
Yeah, he got 2 appearances. He
Damn.
screams and then he crashes into everybody else.
I thought he was gonna die in that
I know.
second one.
Yeah. Under
shoot.
cast, he's just listed as stunt driver.
Ah, shoot. Speaking of random cameos,
Mm-hmm.
I saw Afion Crockett, the 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 comic. He was the one where he did a code switch with his weird, I don't know, British accent or something like that. Help brother out. Well, you're not gonna help brother out. Well, no, I got wife and kids, or whatever.
Because
You gonna help brother out?
That's so yeah.
That was pretty good. It reminded me of the Chris Rock scene in the second one.
Oh right, dude! I forgot that was Chris Rock. I forgot, dude.
Yeah, dude, that was
a
so
one.
good. More cameos. Have you watched Happy Gilmore before?
Yeah, it's been a while though.
Yeah. Well, did you
Like Carl
did you recognize that golfer? Remember when they crashed the helicopter in the golf course?
Oh yeah. No.
That Shooter McGavin, bro.
No way, dude.
I mean,
Shooter McGavin.
I mean, they credited him as golfer, but let's be honest, this is in the Happy Gilmore or what was it Happy Madison universe. In my head canon, this is Shooter McGavin.
No.
The Shooter McGavin, bro. Look it up on IMDb.
Yeah, I'm looking at IMDb. Like what? He's listed as
Golfer.
golfer. Christopher McDonald.
Yep.
Oh, what? That is him. What the heck? Damn, he's old.
Yeah, I know. I know. I was like, wait, does this mean they're making a Happy Gilmore 2?
Oh shoot! I don't ruin that, man. Don't ruin that movie.
Sheesh. Um, another random cameo. Actually, this one was more of a photo. But in the near the beginning, Axel Foley visits Paul Reiser's character, Jeffrey Friedman, I think. Hold on, put it in my notes. Yeah, Jeffrey Friedman. Um, he's basically like the head of the Detroit Police Department. Well, until he retires on screen or whatever. But if you look closely in the background, you get to see Inspector Todd, a photo of him in like hanging in the office.
Really?
Yeah, so I looked it up. He actually dies in real life in 2016.
Oh, dang.
Yeah. And did you want a minor spoiler for the third one? Actually, it's a major spoiler.
Is it a major spoiler? Does it involve a Ferrari?
No. Actually, you know
Okay.
what? I'll let you watch it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because yeah, those are always good in the second one.
Yeah. But yeah. I like the Inspector Todd mini cameo with the photo. It was similar to when we watched Mission Impossible last season, and we saw what was her name?
Which one?
The head of the CIA from Fallout.
Oh, Angela Bassett's
Yeah,
character.
Angela Bassett's character. You were the one who spotted that, like eagle eyes. I was like, "What? I didn't know that." And then when I rewatched it, I was like, "Damn it, Jeremy was right."
I try to, man. I'll miss the most obvious stuff sometimes, like Shooter McGavin.
Well, I mean, for this one, it was a little easier just because that was one of my favorite movies. And then for that cameo with the screen, I was like, "Oh shoot, it is!" And then it was one of those where I could just pause and go back and then do it again. You can't do that in the theaters.
Oh yeah. There you go. Anything else for the dailies?
Yes. One last random thing. Going back to the nostalgia thing that I was mentioning in the double feature, I just like the fact that in every movie he drives through Beverly Hills, and you kind of get to see it updated a little bit. And yeah, it was just like, this is Beverly Hills Cop.
The two Beverly Hills Cop 2 was probably my least favorite.
Yeah.
Just because it's so Tony Scott.
Yes, it was very Tony Scott.
It's like when it's directed by Tony Scott and then did the whole montage.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can tell. I mean, the rest of the movie's fine for the most part, but yeah, it's like this is definitely Top Gun esque.
Yeah. Oh man. All right. Well, that was the dailies. That's one of the new segments that we introduced in season 7. Here's the next. This is now where we find out how both Jeremy and I, what we think of this movie in the real review. So, Jeremy, do you want to give your real review for Beverly Hills Cop, Axel F?
Yes. Okay. Beverly Hills Cop, Axel F is definitely. I've only seen the first two and this one. It's easily the worst one out of the bunch, in my opinion. The energy is still there. It brings back that 80s energy, but in more of a copy paste vibe. I still enjoyed it. There's some set pieces that I think are really well done that I actually think that would have looked cool in theaters, but this is only on Netflix. It involves some cars and some driving. I think I won't say too much there. Eddie Murphy, I think it gives a pretty decent performance once again, as Axel Foley gives that energy that I felt from the 80s. But he really does carry this movie. The rest, there's some highlights, but some lowlights, I believe, are some of the newer characters that they introduced, such as Jane and Abbott. I feel like those characters not as well fitting into the Axel Foley world. So I am giving Beverly Hills Cop Axel F a Still solid. 1950 out of 3,000, a 65%.
Mm. Seems like we kind of watched the same movie.
Oh no.
No, not like last week. Not like last week. Oh man, I'm gonna. Well, you'll see.
Uh-oh.
Oh man, I was dying re-editing that video from last week or 2 weeks ago, I should say.
Yeah.
Oh man, all right. Well, for my real review, did Beverly Hills Cop Axel F need to be made? Definitely not. Am I glad they released Beverly Hills Cop Axel F? That would be a resounding yes. I had bottom of the barrel expectations given that Beverly Hills Cop 3, which was the most recent installment of the Beverly Hills Cop franchise, was released 30 years ago in 1994. Even though, admittedly, it is a guilty pleasure movie of mine. Beverly Hills Cop Axel F leans into the nostalgia, and I'm here for it. They brought back the gang, Rosewood, Taggart, Friedman, and of course, Serge. I hope I said that right. Serge. Taylor Page gives a solid performance as Axel Foley's daughter, Jane, and they even enlist heavy hitters such as Kevin Bacon and Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Was Axel F close to delivering peak Beverly Hills Cop? Definitely not. But because of nostalgia and snappy enough one-liners, I'm giving it an irrational 2100 out of 3000 on the I Love You 3000 scale, which is a 70%, only because it's really 65% with a 5% bump. Let's be honest.
No, nostalgia is real, man.
Yeah, no. I was like, dude, I shouldn't like this movie as much as I did, and I still enjoyed it. And honestly, I don't think I probably would have enjoyed it if I didn't do the rewatch. I think if I just watched this on a standalone, it probably would be hovering around 55 to 60% on a Rotten Tomato scale, just looking at it objectively.
Yeah, if I didn't watch the other ones and I just only watched this one,
Yeah.
I would be like, this is fine. Probably
Yeah.
like 60, right?
Yeah. I guess kind of random. I mean, just I don't think we'll get to really discuss this in part 2, even though we will be talking about 80s movies. There's your teaser for the soup du jour later. I'm guessing you like the first one the best? Or
In
did
a
you like the
way,
second one the best?
No, I did like the first one the best, just
Okay.
because But the one thing I did like about the second one more was the kind of buddy cop stuff with Taggart and Rosewood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you notice, just kind of a random Beverly Hills Cop 1984 tangent, did you notice that one of the henchmen in that movie was Mike Ehrmantraut from Breaking Bad? Or did you get that far in Breaking Bad?
Let me see. In 84?
Yeah, Mike Ehrmantraut.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, because he looks so different. Freaking, what's his name?
Oh my goodness, I forgot his name too.
I know what you're talking about. Freaking A, I'm gonna look up Breaking Bad. Because it's like a one name, like moniker type thing, right? That he uses in Breaking Bad.
Yeah, well, he's just known as Mike.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, what was the name?
Shoot, I'm looking it up real quick. Going to the cast.
Jonathan Banks.
Damn. Let's see.
Yeah, it's Jonathan Banks.
Jonathan Banks. Making sure this is the right guy. Yeah, this is definitely the right guy.
Yeah.
Yes.
I remember when I actually rewatched this, I don't know, maybe a couple of years ago. I saw it on Netflix or something like that the first time. This is before, obviously, XLF came out. I remember watching it for the first time in decades. And I was like, holy crap, that's Mike. And I had just gotten done maybe watched a recent episode of Better Call Saul, obviously within the same Breaking Bad universe.
Mhm.
And I was like, dude, that's Mike. And I had to look it up. I'm like, oh, that's Mike.
Yeah, I mean, freaking Axel kicked his butt, man.
Yeah. Yeah, he did. Dude, one thing I noticed, and I don't know if I remember it on the third one. I have to rack my brain on that. But you were talking about Chris Rock and then Afion Crockett in this one. In the very first movie, did you notice Damon Wayans?
No, where was he?
Damon Wayans, man. He was some sort of random guy. Hold on. Damon Wayans. He was the banana man. He was the one who gave Axel Foley the bananas.
Oh, really? Holy crap. No, I gotta go. I gotta look that up again.
Yeah, it's
Dang,
like,
I
hey,
did
can
not
I get
know.
a couple of bananas? Here's 3.
Yeah.
And then
Dude, everyone
obviously,
looks so different then.
yeah, dude. Yeah. So crazy.
I mean, Jonathan Banks, he just looks more intimidating as he got older.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Chris Rock, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
was
Mm-hmm.
very much different.
Oh man. Okay. Well, that concludes the Beverly Hills Cop rewatch portion of this podcast episode.
And
Let's get right into guessing the Rotten Tomato score. We have now reached the final stretch. Including this week, we have 3 points left up for grabs, and Jeremy has a 2-point lead. So essentially, I need to win out the rest of the season for me to take the title. Because wait, there wouldn't be a scenario. Oh yeah, there wouldn't be a scenario. Actually, no, there is a scenario. I don't want to underestimate ties in this competition.
yeah.
But yeah, there. Either way, either way, because Jeremy's the title holder. If we are tied, he would still retain the title because we got WWE rules
Exactly.
up in here. So I actually have to beat him. And so I have to beat him these next 3 weeks. So he's up 11-9 here in season 7. He's looking to become a 3-time back-to-back-to-back champ. Jeremy, what is your guess for Beverly Hills Cop Axel F?
It's pretty close to my real review score because I am guessing 62%.
No!
Damn it. Damn it.
No! I think this clinches the title for you, actually, because I also
really?
guessed 62%.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's a bad thing for you.
that's a
then.
very bad thing for me. Yeah.
Damn, okay. He guessed.
Congratulations on the title, man. I mean, it was kind of anticlimactic for the
Anticlimactic.
way the award the belt, but yeah, it is what it is. And this basically just proves we don't cheat.
We don't, yeah, like I wouldn't guess to tie like 4 times this season.
Yeah, I think I actually just prefaced it. Hey, never underestimate a tie. And sure enough, for like the 6th or 7th time we've tied.
Seriously. But
Oh,
the
shoot.
real score for Beverly Hills Cop Actual F is
Oh,
66%.
I
Damn.
would have thought it would have been more bordering on fresh or not. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, if I guessed my score, I would have actually been closer.
Yeah, you would have been. All right,
But-
well, we both get the point, and Jeremy clinches yet another title. He wins the season 7 belt. Actually, do you have the belt near you?
Where is the belt? It'll be here next week, I think.
There you go. Okay. See, he even thought that he wasn't going to win the title. This
Yeah,
week.
no, it's not yet. I was waiting until the end of the season.
Yeah. Well, but the current score. I mean, we're gonna play the season out. I want to see if I can at least salvage a tie, because I mean, what better way to end the season than an actual tie? Jeremy is up 12-10, heading into next week. What are we covering next week, Jeremy?
Well, next week. I freaking broke. I don't want to spoil myself for one. We are closing out the global phenomenon, the epic conclusion of this trilogy. Of the Glenn Powell trilogy of the season, we are watching Twisters 2024. The epic conclusion of the Glenn Powell trilogy of the Weekly Reel podcast finally comes to an end in Twisters, starring the man, the myth, the legend, Glenn Powell and Daisy Edgar Jones.
Oh man. I can't wait. I
Yeah,
might
I
actually
can't
do a Glenn Powell rewatch.
Dude, the more that dude, you gotta watch Set It Up on Netflix. That's one of my favorite Glenn Powell movies.
Okay. Okay, I'll make it a quadrilogy then.
There you go. Dude, as the weeks have gone by, that my anticipation for this movie has just like skyrocketed. I'm like, is this close to Deadpool Wolverine? It's like, I think it might be.
Shoot, that's too good. But yeah, this is just like Jeremy said, this is going to be the third Glenn Powell movie that we're covering. I mean, we talked about a Glenn Powell movie earlier in this episode with Dark Knight Rises.
You could rewatch that movie.
I might just rewatch that too and make it a pentology. I don't know
There
if
you
that's a
go.
word. But yeah, so earlier this season, we covered Anyone But You with, oh my goodness, what's her name?
Sydney Sweeney.
Sydney Sweeney. Yeah, I don't remember her name, but I remember Glenn Powell. I should
There
tell
you
us. And then we covered, actually, just last month or so, we covered Hitman with Glenn Powell. And so we got Twisters now with Glenn Powell. So I don't want to spoil any of the one-liners for next week, but all I'll say is all pie is good pie.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, I can't wait
I'm
until
ready.
next week. Actually, really, I mean, we're live streaming on July 17th. Me and Jeremy are watching this tomorrow. So I actually have to finally rewatch Twister
Dude.
tonight on Max after this live stream.
Yeah, we're getting nostalgia hits right now.
I know, man. So I'm kind of curious to see how it holds up. I haven't watched Twister in many years. So I'm curious to see if it looks really dated or not.
I think there's some sequences, yeah, but
Okay.
I think you might be surprised.
Okay, cool. Well, I mean, we'll probably talk a little bit about Twister next week when we talk about Twisters.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to that. So, between now and next week, Jeremy, is there a platform that you would like to highlight for the Weekly Reel podcast?
Yeah, we mentioned it earlier. And if you want to watch this up kind of in parts, or you forgot to watch us live, you could always go on YouTube, the Weekly Reel podcast, and there's some shorts on there. There's some kind of breakdown of the episodes there, and you get notified of when our next live stream is. So if you subscribe, hit the bell notification, then that will be all set up for you there.
Yes, definitely check us out on YouTube. Also, check us out on Instagram at Weekly Reel. On Instagram, we mainly post news, direct links to each of our videos or podcast episodes, as well as reels for short clips from our live stream. So definitely follow us on Instagram at Weekly Reel. Also follow us on TikTok at Weekly Reel Pod, where we mainly post our reel reviews there, as well as fun edits from our Soup du Jour episode, which you should stay tuned for in part 2. Today is going to be a fun one. We have something new in store for you guys. So at Weekly Reel Pod is where you should follow. I feel like that channel's probably grown the fastest out of the 3 that we currently have.
Yeah.
So as we wrap up part 1 of this live stream, check out the previous episode. I don't want to say last week because, again, we missed last week because of this stupid virus that I have right now. But check out episode 125 on A Quiet Place, day 1. It's now available to watch, stream on YouTube, Apple Podcast, Spotify, wherever you prefer to either watch or listen to. And as Jeremy mentioned, part 3 of our Glenn Powell trilogy concludes with Twisters 2024. It's out in theaters this weekend, so definitely support your local movie theater and check it out so that you can join in on next week's live stream. So
Support Glenn Powell.
support Glenn Powell. And all pie is good pie. I just want to say that. Oh man, but for those of you who are still on the live stream, definitely stay tuned for part 2 as we debut that new segment as we talk about 80s movies in the soup du jour. But for everyone else, we'll see you next week on The Reel.